27-yard run.
Hey, Roadrunners, welcome back. So after some technical difficulties, I'm having to refilm this video. I can't figure out how to get it off of my iPhone onto my Windows machine, right, that I have and do all the processing with. Yeah, I know I should probably have a Mac anyway, right, for this kind of stuff, but I don't and I won't. So, but I'm happy with my iPhone. I'm just saying there's something weird going on, so I'm having to redo this on Monday. Found some time in between work to allow me to discuss our Roadrunners on Saturday. So, boy, what a game did Frank have. He had a whale of a game in more ways than one, in more ways than we wanted him to have. Now, let's talk about those two. So that was a big topic of my conversation that I previously recorded. I'm not mad at 2 of the 3 interceptions. I'm really not. We were aggressive. He threw behind Clark in the end zone. And, you know, I think we only ended up giving up a field goal off that interception. He threw one inside and a little short on Franklin to the outs to going streaking down the sideline. If he goes to the outside, I think Franklin comes up with the ball. So both those passes really are on Frank. Now, let's talk about that pick six, the big fella. I gotta love Frank because after he zipped it to him, hey, he was right there. He knew he wasn't gonna try to tackle him. He was swiping at that ball. He was trying to get that ball out. You know, I mean, he could have probably tried to tackle him, but he knew he had to get that ball. And it didn't work. Team scores a touchdown. What I didn't like about it, and this leads me into the next topic. What I didn't like about it was we were actually running the ball pretty good. And it felt like at any moment it was going to break for us in that regard, right? Yeah, I know they're starting to crowd the line of scrimmage and whatnot. But I'm telling you, Brady, he only carried the ball, what, 19, not even 19 times? 19 times total. He had almost 100 yards. That's pretty good. Hey, he had that one big run, his final run. But prior to that, he was like 18 yards for like 75 carries or something like that, or 70-something carries. That's still a good average. It's over 4 yards a carry. It's pretty good. He had himself a good game. Traylon Smith didn't quite run the ball as well as I would have expected him to, but you know what he did do? He did hit the hole and put his head down. I love to see him do that a little bit more. I know he's our lightning back, right, compared to Brendan. Brendan is going to be the bigger, heavier back. You can just see the difference between the two. I would love to see him put his shoulders, square his shoulders up and go through those holes a little bit more because he does have some power. You saw him push the pile a little bit when he did that, and it was kind of nice to see. If you're watching the game on TV or you're watching the game live, it was beautiful to see Brendan get through that hole and go, right? I think I don't know if the offensive line just decided to show up or they just happened to catch Middle Tennessee State in the wrong defense. But, man, he made that one adjustment. He was gone. It was great. The announcer even said that they played like an Olay defense to let us score. Look, you're down 8. You don't Olay a 25-yard touchdown. You stop a first down and you let them kick a field goal because then that's 2.5 scores. 1.5 scores, sorry. 1.5 scores to tie the game. Now you got 2 full scores plus 2-point conversion, right? That's what I mean. You know, they would have had to get a touchdown, full 2-point, and then a field goal. That's 1.5 scores. 1 full score, 1.5 scores, right? So I don't know why the announcers kind of said that because I think the defensive back, when he came over, might have been able to lunge it, Brendan, but I just don't think he wanted to. It had nothing to do with let him score. I just don't think he wanted to because he'd have had to stay out there, right? Now, let's talk about our defense. I think our defense did really well. It was nice to see, to get a lot of pressure. And give it to Cunningham. Man, as that game went on, I just said, are we ever going to sack him? Are we ever going to stop him for negative play? I mean, there's that one, I swear we had him wrapped up, and he just dished it out there, 3 yards. It was incredible to watch. I can see why Middle Tennessee State is a much more dangerous team this year than they were last year because he missed all of last year or most of last year. So we didn't have to play him while he was their quarterback. So I think that helped us last year because he was definitely a menace to society, at least a menace to Roadrunners defense. And give it to our Roadrunners. They just kept going, kept going, kept going, kept going. And we just couldn't get the best of them. We really couldn't. And it was really incredible to watch. Kind of became a side hero of his, right? A fan of his, not a hero. He became a side hero of mine because, watching kids go through that, we hit him pretty hard. We hit him pretty hard. Had him so frustrated, we slapped him about the head. Well, now let's talk about that penalty that really negated the pick six. I don't think our defensive lineman, I forgot his name, was it Morris maybe? Was pushing. I don't think it was Morris. I think that was who had the pick six. Was pushing the defensive lineman. I think he was just trying to disrupt Cunningham because he was staying in the pocket and he didn't realize the play was away. But when he realized he caused it, you could tell he wasn't just like, oh, well, whatever, I slapped it. He wasn't too happy with himself. And that's kind of nice to see, right? I mean, I just think it's one of those things. It happens, right? They're going to protect the quarterback. I don't think there was any malice intended. I think he was just trying to just swipe at him to get him to throw an errant football, which he had done prior, right? It just unfortunately didn't work out for us for a pick six. But our defense played really well, gave up that really one long run. But after that, I mean, everything was improv by Cunningham. And how do you beat that? How do you defend that? Think about it. He's their Frank Harris. How many times have we seen Frank sit in the pocket, just deliver a beautiful pass? While 7 other plays in the game, he's gotten out and made great plays. I mean, there's a reason why he's Offensive Player of the Week this week. Again, right? I mean, just incredible. And then Sackett, he's been money for us. He got a field goal for us. He got all the extra points for us, and our kicking game is pretty solid, and that's going to help. That's going to help us going into dangerous situations, right? When we start getting into deep territory, and we need our players to just get scrape for every yard, every point. A kicking game is crucial, right? Lucas Dean had a 57-yard punt. He averaged 104. He got a total of 104 yards off two punts. So, hey, I mean, that means this shorter punt was 47 yards, right? If I do the math right, 104, right? 52, average 52 yards. That's not too shabby in college, right? But we got to send him to acting school because he needs to find a way to make that running into the kicker into more of a roughing the kicker. Hey, it was a legit call. I'm not saying it should have been called something else, but it was a legit call. It was running in the kicker, nothing dangerous. Caught him in his kicking behind or buttock, the right buttock. So it was pretty good. Didn't hit him in the plant leg. But give it to the offensive coaching staff. We got in there, could have just taken the play, but went for it and we converted. It was really nice to see how well this offensive staff is really coming along. Like I said, to me, I was only upset when we threw that pick six because to me, I felt like that was a time. I know they're going really for the knockout blow, right? But sometimes you get that running game going, you get that first down, you keep the other team off the field, and you don't put your defensive backs, your linemen, into full pass rush mode, chasing kids around because they're still going to send 5 wide out. But now they're going to really send 5 wide out, right? You can do everything they can to catch balls. You can do everything they can to stop them from catching it. You get those weird injuries, right? Kid comes down funny. A kid comes down funny on another kid, right? That kind of stuff. So I would have preferred running there because I really think that Brendan would have broke one on that play, not that play, but that line of scrimmage. Good Lord, can't even think on that drive, and we don't give up the 7 because I mean, you had to feel happy. We got to stop, march right down went up 7. Got to stop, march right down. Didn't quite convert, got 3. Didn't get a stop. No, then we stopped them again. Then we got stopped, and then they came right back and make 10-7. Then it became, let's score, you score. We'll score, you score. We'll score, you score. You had to say, is this going to be another Western Kentucky game? It was close. It was close to being a Western Kentucky game. when we drove that ball in that second half at the beginning, in my text message group, I was just like, man, if we finish this off right here, I think we bury Middle Tennessee State because we made it 38-20, right? With that opening kickoff. I really thought they would have just packed it in, right? Many teams don't respond all that well when you come out, when you own the second quarter and you come out immediately in the third quarter. But give it to Middle Tennessee State. They kept playing, they kept fighting. This is Conference USA, and these are a lot of these kids. And I mentioned in my last video, a lot of these programs are having fifth-year seniors that stuck around, right? Sixth-year seniors that probably are sticking around. They have an opportunity, maybe not to go to the next level. Some of them might by getting that extra year of development, but many of them are probably realizing, hey, the coaching staff's convinced me to stay. They're going to give me a scholarship, or maybe not. Maybe I can get my master's, right? Or get close enough to a master's. The school's paying for it, and now you really got a leg up starting life. So I know that we're benefiting from that a little bit because, Brendan Brady came back for his final year. And I think we have some other kids like that on the program. I really don't know all of them all that well. I just know Brendan is the biggest name that did that. Now, with our wide receivers, of course, they're all underclass. Well, they might be juniors this year. I think they're juniors this year. They're not, third year, fourth year players. Well, they are third year players, but strict third year players, right? So we've got the makings, if we don't lose those three wide receivers, to have a pretty prolific offense for the next couple of years. Maybe we stay healthy at the line, offensive line, and that would help. Because I'm telling you, the offensive line grew up. Other than the one mistake where Frank rolled to his right, I really don't understand that play call. Because he's lefty, and so he's rolling to his right down and near the goal line. I really, that surprised me that we called that. Maybe our offensive coordinator got a little into his own head with that play call, because I wouldn't have done that. No way. I would have just said either play it straight up or roll Frank to his right to allow him to see and have his natural throw. Now look, he's gone to his left. I mean, he's gone to his right many times and made passes, and he's a fantastic athlete. That's just a situation I wouldn't have put him in. And then the passing. But other than that, I mean, he lit them up. 400 yards. The kids played great. Sakari catching tip passes, keeping his hand on the ball. Clark, I loved every time Clark got a pass. And the craziest thing, they needed 10, needed 12. He caught an 8-yard pass. Somebody trying to tackle him. He's got the ball tucked to his belly, and he just keeps spinning, keeps pushing a little bit. Next thing you know, he gets another 6 yards, and he converts a 14-yard pass, and we only needed 12 for first down on third down. It was incredible to watch how he made those as a wide receiver, those hustle plays. Now, there were situations we probably would have gone for it also, but we didn't need to, right? We got in fresh set of downs because of that kind of play. And now let me talk a little bit more about Clark. Last year, you heard me every time I did these videos, and you've heard me all this year, we have the best three in G5. And I always put Franklin on a pedestal, and I will, right? But Clark is starting to almost look like a tight end out there. He's a big kid. He's grown and probably another inch, and he's probably put on about another 10 pounds since we last saw him last year, right? They list him as 6'2". If he's only 6'2", I am telling you, he might only be 6'2". Those defensive backs in Middle Tennessee State were 5'7". I'm just going to say it, because he might have always been bigger than Franklin, but he just looks like he's kind of filled out and gotten an extra inch on him. We all tend to do that in our early 20s, late teens, early 20s. We always tend to get that one little extra growth, and then put on a little extra weight, of course, because he's hitting the gym, right, being an athlete. So we'll see. I'm really high on Clark. I am. I'm high on Cephas too. Don't get me wrong. I'm high on all three of them. Really, I am. I think that those kids can play football. And don't be surprised if they are on NFL rosters when they're eligible and they decide to go. Don't be surprised. They may have to walk on, whatever you call it, free agent, but don't be surprised if they stick, because those kids can catch. And they're big kids too. They're bigger than we give them credit. Cephas is really lanky, right? He can put himself on a little bit more weight, and he look out, right? Look out. I'm telling you, these kids could be on NFL rosters very easily. It could be just like Tariq Woolen, right? Tariq, no one knew anything about him. You heard me last year talk about I think we miss him in our defensive secondary, right? In our rotation. I said that after the La Tech game. I said, man, it sucked to see that. But then there he is. Sunday, got himself his first pick six. And you saw, man, with the way he flashed across there with that 4.2 speed. Yeah. Yeah. These three kids playing wide receiver could sneaky do that, right? Find themselves and just be number 3 on the depth chart. That's a lot of money in the NFL. That's a lot of money, is all I'm saying, if they wanted to and if they could. All right. Anyway, Roadrunners, we play Western Kentucky Saturday night. It's a night game, and I think it's going to be a tougher game. It's going to be a tougher game. They're coming for us, so bring your voices, bring your. I don't know if we have any kind of orange out, white out, navy out, whatever. Just come wearing navy or orange, and be as loud and obnoxious as you want to be, because our team's going to need it. We got to pick them up. We know we're deep in the depth chart, but every week there's a chance for a player that was nicked up to come back, just like what we had with Dadrian Taylor. I think that you miss players like that, they start playing a little bit better, right, when they come back. Now we just got to get Wisdom out there, because I don't think he played. I don't remember seeing him out there, so I think he's out. So hopefully he'll be ready to play with the next game. And just one of those things, and it's great. Here's the best way to look at what we're going through and how we're still performing. The coaching staff is coaching everybody, and that's what you want as a coaching staff. Everybody who's willing to walk out on that field deserves your best coaching effort if they put in the effort. If they don't sit by themselves, they don't sulk, they're not a negative consequence to the team. Everyone that shows up is deserving of your coaching staff's 100% coaching. It's just that's how you build programs. It is, and our coaching staff's doing it. Anyway, Roadrunners, peace out. Boo!
A 47-yard run.